You're the founder and editor-in-chief of Learning Tangent Homeschool Magazine. Tell us a little bit about how Learning Tangent came to be.
Well, it started not long after we started homeschooling because I went and signed up for every magazine I could find. And they were all from, one religious perspective or another. And I just got to thinking, why isn't there one that's just for everyone, just inclusive? I mean, no matter what your religion, why can't it just be there? I think we kind of get wrapped up in our own perspective and we sometimes forget to look outside of that area sometimes, and that's where it came from because I there are a lot of challenges to homeschooling right now, and I think that it's important to come together more as homeschoolers than as this, that, or the other type of homeschooler.
Yeah, no, it's a great concept. And when I discovered it, I was really excited because it seemed to me that there was a similar thought process going on to what I had in my mind when I established Resounding Books, something that reached across the political spectrum. You're really reaching across the faith spectrum, which I think is really exciting. I'd be really curious also then to talk about what the other ways are that you see your magazine as being different.
Um, Part of the reason we started homeschooling was over the Common Core debacle, and I decided early on that I thought that anything that limited the freedom and the liberties of people in how they educate their children was something that I wanted nothing to do with. So I decided that we wouldn't put any reviews in there for Common Core line materials or even any advertising. It does slow the growth a bit, but I feel like my integrity was more important than the money.
Even though it's slower growth, do you find that it's more organic growth, and so that the people who come on board with you, who get subscriptions to your magazine, who are paying attention to what you do, that it's more organic, that people stay with you?
I think so. I think that yeah, it is slower growth, but I think that the growth that I've experienced, which is solid, it's a solid growth, but I think that that growth is more loyal in that they appreciate that integrity. They appreciate the fact that I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to say, "Oh yeah, it's okay for some and not for others." No, it's limiting liberty, and I'm not going to support that.
I'm kind of wondering what kinds of articles, what kinds of resources you want to provide in that magazine to really bolster the homeschool community.
Well, we like to do things, as you said, interfaith. I call it inclusive because no matter what a writer's faith is, they're welcome to express it as long as they do it in an educational tone. So, kind of as a fill in the blank, we believe this, and you leave it at that. Because at that point, they know where you stand. You know where you stand. You can either listen or not, right? But often that type of approach brings people together rather than pushing them apart because you're just saying, well, this is how I believe, right? So we've got that aspect of it, which is kind of nice because that's something that's been kind of lacking in the community. The secular avenues all tend to get a little bit anti-religion. They don't mean to, but it tends to go that direction. And I didn't want to do that because that's not who I am either. You know, we're just all different. We need to respect each other's differences. While at the same time, we look at the similarities and appreciate those.
And do you find that it fosters dialogue at all between your readers, or
I think it does. I see more of it on Facebook than I do on the magazine's website itself. But you know how that goes. Social media, it's so easy to chat there where it's not, it's like, oh, I have to go to a website, I have to go do that. So, but I see a lot of it on Facebook, and I have seen it fosters some really interesting dialogues where people really didn't get offensive, they didn't get offended, and people were just able to walk away being better for the experience.
and knowing something more about each other?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's the whole thing. The knowledge is power, and the more we know about each other's um, faith and beliefs and interests, the more it strengthens our own, or at least it should, to my mind. And for another, it fosters respect, because you can look at someone and go, yeah, you're different, but who cares? We like you anyway.
Right. Isn't it? I mean, that's such an interesting point. And again, I love it because it really parallels or dovetails with some of the things I've been working to do at Resounding Books in certain ways. And one of the things I found is that we are so divided all the time. It seems to me there's a very purposeful effort to keep us from talking to each other and to keep us from liking each other. And so to inject real opportunities for dialogue and relationship and understanding, that's a service, because frankly it's not a win for us in terms of liberty if we're divided. We can't see the real enemies. We're constantly thinking that, oh, you're the enemy or I'm the enemy, or whatever. But when there are these real enemies out there, or real problems that need to be fought or rejected, and if we're talking and if we like each other as people, understand each other better as people, then we can actually join together, at least in limited ways, to fight the real bad guys.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the whole thing I'm hoping to accomplish over time with it, is that, look, no matter what your faith walk, if you even have one, I don't care. What I want to know is, what kind of person are you? What drives you? How do you get through the day and have a clear conscience? Um, yeah, the lines in the sand. I'm so tired of them. So tired of them. And that's what I saw with a lot of other magazines, was lines in sand. And they weren't intentional lines in sand. It was just, this was their perspective. And that was what they were comfortable with. Totally fine. It's nice to be around people of like mind sometimes, but I want to grow. And if I'm around the same people all the time, I'm not going to grow, as a person. And the magazine's the same way. But, we have articles anywhere from creatively homeschooling history, which we had that a few issues back, to parenting, raising an independent adult. Because we're not raising kids, are we? We're raising future adults.
Is Learning Tangent Homeschool Magazine just for homeschoolers?
I started out as kind of going that direction, but the truth is it's morphed into so much more than that. It's kind of a parenting magazine. It's a homeschool magazine focus. I mean, it's homeschool focused, but there's parenting stuff. There's all sorts of, there's recipes. Oh, yes, I don't know what I'm putting in this one yet, but we'll figure something out. Last time it was double chocolate chip pancakes. It's like dessert. Yeah, dessert for breakfast. Woohoo! But yeah, so crosswords. I mean, it is actually morphed into more of a family magazine with an education focus, a home education focus.
So anybody can pick it up and benefit from it. What's next for Learning Tangent?
The magazine itself is. I've also kind of decided I'm limiting how much advertising is going to be in there. So that means the advertising that will be there, as it grows, will never ever take over the magazine. So we're going to limit each issue to about 10%. So the ads that are there will have much more impact. The other thing is that I'm working on collecting digital resources so that my print subscribers can have their own login and they can have access to all of those resources as part of their subscription. I'm collecting these things, and I'm editing public domain books so that we can put all these up there as digital resources so they can have them on their Kindles and whatnot. And as part of their paid print subscription, they'll have access to that.
What a great thing to know about. We will definitely want to let our readers and members know about that. So, and then if people want to get a subscription to Learning Tangent Homeschool Magazine, where do they go, and what formats can they access the magazine in? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, right now we have the print and a digital version, and there's a few different things. So you go to the website, learningtangent.com, to subscribe. It's right up on the left-hand side there, shop. Kind of easy to find. So there's the print there. They can also purchase PDFs to download for each of the issues. So they can either print it or put it on their Kindle. I'm trying to work on a real Kindle-friendly version, but that's proving rather challenging for magazines, because you want to actually have the layout look good and have the print adjustable and all that, and it's challenging. But so the PDFs are there, and they are printable. but you can also put them on your Kindles. Usually about a month or so after we publish the print edition, because I want the subscribers to get it first, we put it on issue, and that is actually free. But you can't download, you can't do anything else. You can just read it right there on your computer, which is fine. But for early access, because a lot of the articles are time sensitive, the subscribers getting first dibs on everything.